Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Culture Controversial Podcast Sports Talk. I'm your host, Simply Nichols 87, and with my co-host D-Ron 2000, Ty H. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on,
Hey,
world?
man. Beautiful evening. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here, man. For all the new people that haven't subscribed to the channel, y'all hit the subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell, let you know we're going live, we're dropping premium content. And by the way, man, if y'all want to donate to the channel, I've seen a couple people had done it about a week or two ago. They dropped to the Cash App, but if y'all feel like it, the Cash App is below, down in the bottom of the ticker. Y'all hit that if y'all want to be, generous to the channel. We appreciate everything you get over here. But let's go get into a little sports talk. We hadn't been on here in a while. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Pale? Pale in the building. So let's get into it today. I just want to go ahead and start with today. Did the Panthers make a good move today, in your opinion? Because I know you guys are Panthers fans. I support the home team. Mr. Skinny in the building. Salutes.
You look like you're at a nightclub.
Yes,
I don't think it's a bad move. I don't think it's a great move. This is how I feel about Mayfield. I feel like he's a middle of the road quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. He's somewhere in the middle. He's better than Sam Darnold. I think
Right.
the last time he was healthy, the Browns made playoffs. So and won a playoff game. So he's an
Debo.
if you have a solid defense, a solid running attack, and can protect them, he can be adequate. Now he's never going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's never going to be Tom Brady. He's not even going to be a top five. He's not even going to be Dak Prescott as far as that goes. But he can. And I'm not saying Dak's elite, but he's still a good quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield's average, potential to be slightly above average quarterback, but nothing special. You only gave up a conditional fifth round draft pick, so even if it doesn't work, you can cut your bait and move on from him. It's a low risk move, and then if he does end up emerging as a starter and you have success, then you found a gem. If it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything. So it's low risk with the move. You got a potential for reward. I don't have a problem with the move, even if it doesn't work. You haven't lost anything.
That's true. I agree with that. What about you, D?
it wasn't a bad move. Definitely something that is a whole lot better than what we got now at quarterback.
Sam.
Yeah, that right there, that shows you a lot how your organization has trust in you. So that's one thing right there. I would say this, I still think he got to prove himself. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like I was listening to something today. It was basically saying that we probably got the better deal as far as a quarterback offseason this year because of how much we gave up. Fifth round for him ain't bad. I definitely wouldn't have gave up a first, a second, or third for him like that. But to get him at a fifth round,
Yeah, that was a good deal. I mean, that was a pretty good move. I can't agree. Like Tyrell said, like that's either that's a steal.
the low risk,
It's a low
maybe
risk
high
or a high.
reward.
It could be a high reward. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you ain't really losing nothing if it.
Right. And then another thing, if you compare him to Darnold, Darnold was about the fourth overall pick to a very bad Jets team. Baker was the first overall pick to a very bad Browns team. So it's not like one was drafted into a better situation than the other. Still, if you look at the early results, I don't know if they came in the same year, but they came in around within a year
About
or
a
two
year
apart.
apart, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like they came around that same time frame, maybe a year apart or so. If you look at it, Baker has still given better results, has won more games, and when he's healthy, I'm not saying he's great, but he's at least been adequate. Like sometimes there are only a handful of great quarterbacks. If you got like an all-pro quarterback, it's rare that you have an MVP quarterback. We had one years ago, but that time is come and gone. But it's rare to have someone like that. So if you can build a good team and have a quarterback who's adequate, I think you sometimes you have to go with that because if you look at most teams, a lot of teams are quarterback hungry, and there's few and far between to find elite quarterbacks. Sometimes you want someone who's at least adequate, and then you can build into other areas, and you can still win a lot of games. An example of that was the Baltimore Ravens with Joe Flacco. Even won a Super Bowl that way, and they were for years and years a playoff team, year in and year out without him. He was never elite. He was above average, like a solid adequate starter. Yeah, he was a solid, adequate starting NFL quarterback, but nothing special. But they made the playoffs for probably 5 or 6 straight years with him, and went on to win a Super Bowl trophy with them. And I'm talking about he played adequately during most of his tenure there until he got on a decline. You can make an argument even with in the early part of Ben Roethlisberger's career, I know later on he became a perennial Pro Bowler, but in the early part of his career, they won a Super Bowl with just adequate quarterback play from him, nothing elite out of him, and was still able to win a Super Bowl and still be good until he emerged as one of your better quarterbacks. So the only issue is how that offensive line performed. Because with that offense, as bad as that offensive line is, I don't care who you put back there. You can put Montana, you can put Brady, you can put whoever. One final example I want to give, which is adequate quarterback play. I know times have changed. The Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s won 4 Super Bowls with an average quarterback because they had a great defense in Steel Curtain, had a great running back in Franco Harris, had great offensive linemen like Green and all those guys, had excellent receivers in Stallworth and Swan, and they were able to win Super Bowls with just an adequate quarterback. So you can win with an adequate quarterback if you manage the game well and have things around you. Look at the San Francisco 49ers last year. Got to the NFC Championship game with a very marginal Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback. Yeah. So if you're able to run, if you're able to protect the front, if you're able to run the ball effectively, and you're able to play solid defense, you're going to be in every game. And at that point, you want your quarterback to be adequate, be able to make enough throws to move the chains. We're not telling you to go out there and be Drew Brees. We're telling you to move on 3rd and 5. Hit that 5-yard hitch to get that first down and keep the chains moving. And in goal line situations when you're in the red zone, be able to connect and make plays in the red zone, whether it's with your legs or with your arms, so we can put up touchdowns instead of field goals. If you can be efficient in the key areas on the field and make adequate throws and keep the chains moving, you can win ball games with an adequate quarterback. The key is, will Carolina have an offensive line good enough to allow that to happen?
I feel like they're trending better.
We'll see, because when you're starting a rookie at left tackle, I know his first round pick, and I'm glad they addressed the offensive line in the draft. That's what they were supposed to do. And based on what the most scouting and most reports said, they picked the guy who people are high on, who people look to emerge as a very good player. The thing is, anytime you're starting a rookie, that can go one or two ways. He could either catch on fast and be great, or it could be a learning curve. Here's the thing: even if the guy goes on to be an All-Pro, we don't know if he's going to be a great player right away. And if you throw him out there and he's not quite ready yet, for this year, we could still be in a similar situation as last year. Then maybe in the ensuing years, he ends up being very good. But we're talking about the now. Anytime, and left tackle is a dangerous position to start a rookie. Lots of times, even when guys get drafted left tackle, if they start as a rookie, they'll start him at right tackle, like Jordan Gross. His rookie season, he started at right tackle. They moved him left tackle a few years later. Ironically, we went to the Super Bowl with him playing right tackle because we had Todd Stussy. We had Todd Stussy, who's a Pro Bowl tackle at the left. But generally speaking, most time rookies don't start at left tackle either. So we don't even know if he's going to start on the left, start on the right, or start at all. So there's still question marks about offensive line. Even though they addressed it, we don't know if the impact of what they address will be seen immediately. And that could still put you in a bind like you were last year. Because if you can't protect the quarterback, I don't care who you have at there. You can't keep him upright. I've never seen a quarterback make plays land on his backside.
You're right.
But at least I would say with that case, they did try to address it. Sure. Yes, like you said, it's not a quick fix. Of course, not getting a trade or a free agent, but yeah, it just now is can they, like you said, can they sustain this?
Yeah, and here's another piece that we haven't even mentioned. You got to keep Christian McCaffrey on the field. Yep. You got to keep him healthy. You got to keep him healthy, but you can't overuse him. They picked up that back from the guy that played college ball at Texas, not Swoops, but what's his name? Devontae Foreman. The guy that he played running back at Texas, kind of big bruising back. He was a backup to Derrick Henry in Tennessee. And if he can stay healthy, you got to use him, especially in short yardage situations and goal line situations, in those situations where you need tough yards. You got to use that guy and not run McCaffrey to the ground. Because if you don't have a healthy Christian McCaffrey, you're going to also run into the same challenge you ran into the last 2 years.
Absolutely. Right. And I think that's been more a pitfall the last 2 seasons. You ran him. He was you ran him like a government mule, basically.
JR. Jim Ross. Government mule. Government mule.
I was thinking about it until I said it. But basically is I think I know DJ Moore came out maybe last week sometime, and basically kind of, I ain't gonna say he threw what's called under the bus, but he basically just put it out there,
See him in the building.
that Brady wasn't winning, running a sufficient offense, and like he said, now he actually like how the new coordinator is doing right now.
McAdoo.
Yeah, he
But
actually. I mean,
I
it's too early to call it, but he just
I'm
said
like, everybody looks good in shorts and a t-shirt. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
if you talk to one player from all 32 teams right now, and you ask them how things are looking, right now many things will look really good. I'm really excited. Everything looks great. Everybody's clicking. We're really
Trey in
getting
the
to know each
building.
other.
What's up,
I
Trap
really
House?
like how the offense is looking. If you talk to a coach, the guys are really working hard. I'm really seeing some nice things. I'm really high on this group. I really think this group, the gel together, can really do some nice things this year. I'm definitely excited. Everybody from all 32 teams say that. So, and yeah, I don't hate Joe Brady. Here's the thing:
No, I don't
if you
either.
if you don't have an offensive line, it doesn't matter what offense you run. I don't care if you run in the I formation. I don't care if you're running spread from the gun. I don't care if you're running the wishbone or whatever. If you can't block, nothing that you, like, for example, when we're at the high school games, what up, Ralph Jackson? When we're at the high school games and someone, I was like, well, why are they calling this play? Why do they keep calling that play? And I tell them nobody's blocking, so it doesn't matter whether they run it, pass it, whether they run off tackle, whether they run between the center and the guard. If nobody's blocking, it doesn't matter. CM, who's listening to us now, I'm sure he could vouch for that, former Bearcat player. If nobody's blocking, your offense is not going to work. Same thing on defense. If your defensive line can't get penetration and your linebackers can't get off of blocks, it doesn't matter what kind of defense, especially with the defensive line part. If your defensive line can't get penetration, first of all, you're not going to be able to stop the pass because you're not going to be able to rush the pass if you can't get there before them. Then that make you have to blitz. And when you blitz, that's 50-50. It might work, it might not. You might get a sack or you might give up a touchdown over the top, depending on. You don't want to blitz Tom Brady. You don't want to blitz Aaron Rodgers. I'll put it like that. So if your defensive line can't penetrate, you're not going to be able to stop the run or stop the pass. And if your offensive line can't block, you're not going to be able to run and you're not going to be able to pass. It's as simple as that. So I know people say, well, since they've struggled pass blocking, Brady could have ran the ball a little bit more. But at the same time, you have to be able to take shots downfield. You have to be able to be efficient in the passing game. You can't just depend solely on a run. You can't run the ball 50 times in today's NFL and think you're going to win 13-10. So I'm not going to put all of that on Joe Brady. I mean, was he perfect? No, but was he given a full deck of cards to play with either? I don't think so.
Man. I want to put to the other side of the spectrum. Do you think now that the whole trade has went through, was it Cleveland's way of saying goodbye, Baker Mayfield? We ready to move on with Deshaun, or do they know the future of Deshaun right now as they speak?
Of course they don't. I mean, he's going to get suspended, but right now I read the rumors saying the league will be satisfied with a 6 to 8 game suspension. I think they're going to give him 7 games, and if they give him 7, he'll take that. Now, if they try to give him the whole season, he's going to appeal that and probably win it because he could argue precedent. He could say like Roethlisberger, who wasn't charged with a crime, and I'm not trying to play a racial thing in it. I'm talking about just on merit only. Just Roethlisberger, who was accused. Well, I mean, Watson got accused 24, but and I know Roethlisberger got accused 2.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
But my point is, Roethlisberger was accused of sexual assault and was suspended 4 games in a 16-game season, and he was never charged with the crime. So I'm dealing with the commonalities here. Watson was also accused of sexual misconduct. It was investigated by a grand jury, and it was determined there wasn't sufficient evidence to charge him with the crime. So when you have those parallels and you have precedent, I think that if they tried to do a whole season, he would be able to appeal that with a third-party investigator / arbitrator, whoever. I think they can get that reduced. Similar to when they tried to hit Greg Hardy. I know it's a different situation, but when they tried to hit Greg Hardy with 10 games, and he got it reduced to 4 just based on precedent alone, because at the time the rules were like first violation, 6 games, second violation ban, but then they hit him with 10 on the first violation. Furthermore, with Greg Hardy's situation, at the time his action took place, the rule was only 2 games for your first offense. So really, I thought he could have appealed and even got it brought down to 2, but still, I guess when they said 10, he got it to 4. I've been reading on several sources that the league would be satisfied, would accept 6 to 8 games if they came to an agreement, because they've been negotiating with Watson. I was reading where they would agree with 6 to 8 games in a 17-game season. I think he'll take that.
Yeah.
And then you got the rest of his career. Just don't screw any more of your masseuses, and you'll be okay.
But that's basically what happened. But that's kind of a. We all probably knows different outcomes between.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said, and don't get me wrong, if Watson was stupid for putting himself in this situation, I want to make that clear. Stupid as can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, you dumb mf'er. All what you could have thrown your career away. Are you that? Do you got to have something that bad? You're Deshaun Watson. You got millions of dollars. You got a girlfriend. You got women who probably throw themselves on you, and you
go to that.
You gotta have it right then, right there. That bad? That's stupid. But to the point you're making, of course, when it comes to whether it's criminal law, whether it's when it comes to how they're viewed by the general public, based even on how the league handles things, it's always a little different the way black players get handled versus white players. We could even go with the domestic violence thing with Josh Brown, the former kicker for the Giants. When he got accused of a domestic violence situation, this is after the rules got changed, first offense 6 games. They still only gave him 2 games, even after the rules got changed to 6 games. This is like a couple years after Greg Hardy originally got 10 and got reduced to 4. They gave him 2 games, nothing more. Then later on, like 2 years later or a year and a half later, he admitted that he roughed up or physically abused or whatever terminology you use. Anyway, that he harmed his wife physically or touched her aggressively physically, touched her in a way that would constitute as domestic violence. He, after he admitted that on Twitter, then the league came back and suspended him 6 games. But at the time, the Giants had already released him, so he wasn't playing with anybody. Ordinarily, when you're suspended when you're not on the team, the suspension doesn't go into effect until the team signs you, and then the suspension takes place. What they did, they suspended him 6 weeks. He wasn't on a roster anyway, so after 6 weeks later, when somebody signed him, he was available to play immediately and allowed to play immediately. To me, if you're not on a roster, then you're not serving suspension because you're not on the roster anyway. When you've been released from the roster and you're suspended while not on the roster, typically speaking, in any of the 4 major leagues, the suspension does not start until you're eligible to play. Like, for example, if you get suspended while you're injured, let's say you're out with a torn ACL for the season, and they suspend you 6 games because they found out you slapped your girlfriend. I'm just using this as an example. That suspension doesn't start while you're out with the torn ACL. When you return next season, or if you return in the middle of the season, that suspension does not start until you've been cleared and determined eligible to play otherwise. And at that point, when you're determined active and eligible to play and cleared from injury or cleared from being idle or cleared from being on leave or whatever the case may be, that's when the suspension starts. Not once you're signed by somebody. The NBA had a situation where somebody got suspended. Now, I don't think it was for a domestic situation, but it was a suspension nevertheless. It could have been for fighting or something like that, leaving the bench during an altercation. Nevertheless, that player was suspended, but that player was out like 2 to 4 weeks with an injury, and they announced that the suspension wouldn't start until he returned from injury, not while he was out, because you're out anyway. So that's usually how that works. So that Josh Brown situation is a prime example of how white guys are treated differently than black guys in such situations. And if someone want to say that's not about race, then what is it about? This happened a couple of years ago when he was given 2 games after the rules were changed to 6. And then later on, a year later, after he admitted it, then they came back and gave him 6 that he'd never served because he wasn't even on a roster, and then was allowed to play immediately when he was brought on a roster. You can't tell me that there isn't a difference in the results. This is not my opinion. This is factually what happened.
True. That's definitely what happened. Gucci in the building. What's going on, man? Speaking of suspension, I'll jump over to the other side of the spectrum sooner. Miles Bridges.
Oh man.
What do you think the faith of him right now? What do you think the faith of him is doing?
That dumb MF.
Fumble the bag was a definition. His face was right beside that word.
That's the I'm gonna sound like Bill Callahan. He has to be the dumbest guy on the planet. You're a free agent. Somebody's gonna sign you for $125 million, whether it's the Hornets or somebody else. Somebody's about to hand you $125 million in your free agent year, and you do that. You don't even get yourself caught up in a situation like if she pisses you off, walk away, leave the house, do whatever you got to do. You don't do that.
After
I wasn't there, so I can't say. I wasn't there, so I can't say what happened. But what I can say is, don't even put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
You just lost $125 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. He's gonna at least get a 25-game suspension because Jeff Taylor a few years ago pushed his girl and got 25 games. This is Miles' first offense. I mean, I doubt they're going to suspend the season. If they do, it'd be that liberal appeasement BS where they're trying to appease to the media, because the MLB suspended that dude 2 years for sexual assault when that guy was never charged with a crime, and the police even investigated and said it was nothing criminal that took place, and they still suspended him 2 years.
I think I got a year for the Braves.
Right, and that's unprecedented because there hasn't been a suspension of that magnitude for that type of situation before. To me, and I'm not defending domestic violence. I don't condone domestic violence. I don't condone violence, period, unless it's self-defense. I don't condone sexual assault or any of that. I think people who commit such crimes should be held accountable, should be punished, should be jailed, should be in prison. But I'm talking about from a league standpoint, when you have rules in place and you have precedent set, we're saying when you commit this as offense, this is the standard for what the punishment should be. It's not right for you to suddenly say, I'm going to come up with a severe punishment for this particular person when it doesn't align with what our standard, what our rules, and what the agreement is for this type of situation. At that point, you're being inconsistent and you're doing it just for media and public appeasement, and that's what I don't like. In that case, with MLB, that's what I think that was. So with Miles Bridges, he deserves to be suspended, and he will be suspended. But if they suspend him for a season or something like that, especially when that's his first offense, granted, he deserves to be punished. He deserves to be suspended. If it's proven that he did that, he was absolutely wrong, and if he does get convicted, he should go to jail for it. But my point is, let's say if he does not get convicted, I don't know if he will, if he won't. But hypothetically, if he does not get convicted of that felony crime, if it gets reduced to a misdemeanor or whatever, the punishment should be aligned with whatever punishment they've given people in the past for such a situation. They shouldn't all of a sudden say, we're going to do this. Like some people say he should be banned from the league. There's no precedent for banning someone from the league for their first offense or something like that. So I'm dealing with from the logic and precedent. It should be based on what the standard is, what the collective bargaining agreement is, and what the precedent is based on that situation, not arbitrarily extended or more just because people in the public are pressuring. It shouldn't be based on public pressure. It should be based on the rules you already have in place. You can't set rules and then just suddenly make up stuff as you go along. And it should be there's a collective bargaining process for rules. Every year in the off season, they have a rules committee where they make and change rules. So if that's the case, then you shouldn't be able to right in the middle of a situation under a current set of rules just say I'm gonna arbitrarily make this ruling that doesn't allow what the current rules in place are. You shouldn't be, Goodell is bad about that in the NFL, making up stuff as you go along when it should be based on the standard that's been set and agreed upon that's currently in place.
Let me respond to this right here. Wendell, if it don't matter if he was planning a divorce or not, you just lost $125 million. Regardless of the situation, you got to walk away from that.
He's stupid. I mean, that's just I'm not defending it. That's dumb. He got to be the dumbest man. I mean, Miles Bridges has to be the dumbest man on the planet.
Yeah, at this point, I think he is. He got it right now.
I mean, right now, I mean, it's I ain't gonna say it's grim, but I mean, it ain't looking too good for him right now on all accounts. You know what I'm saying?
And what might happen? What I'm scared. I'm not gonna say what I'm scared of, but what I'm wondering is gonna happen. He might not get suspended for the season, but what if nobody signs him? He just left out in the cold.
Then that's what I'm saying. Like
he might get free rights.
Might be asked out. I hate to say it like that.
But the only thing is, he is talented. A guy who averaged 20 or 7, who's only 24 years old. What might happen now that his values decrease? Somebody might get him on the low, get him like on the veterans minimum type thing, get him like 1 year, $6 million, and get a fringe all-star caliber guy who's on the verge of all-star level. Get a guy like that for a low price like that. You may find someone who may take him for a non-guaranteed deal or like a low ball deal, like 1 year, $6 million or something like that, or a low risk deal, and give him a chance to play after his suspension is up and feel like they can help themselves make a run. Example, like a team like the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban doesn't really care about. He doesn't really fold to media pressure. A guy like that, Dallas has a good team and a team that might be a player away from being a championship team. They got to the West Finals last year. He might be a guy then after them whatever amount of games, or might be a guy that might sign him to a 1-year deal for pennies on the dollar, and then bring him in after the suspension's up, and then have him ready for the playoff run. Add him to Luka and that crew that they have, and feel like maybe this caliber of player could push us over the edge. And then what will happen? You know, he'll get up and make the apology and get the crying and stuff, and donate some money to the battered women's shelter, and do all that. Oh, I embarrassed my mama, and my grandma was mad at me, and
typical PR
now, and all that stuff. And you know how they pretend like they're sorry.
Yeah, typical PR.
Do the whole PR, even though he probably don't mean it one bit. Do the PR stuff, and then try to rebuild himself. And you'll find a team like that who may take him for pennies on the dollar. A team like the Milwaukee Bucks who might take him, who's trying to get back to championship contention. That caliber of a player, because he's very talented. When you're good at what you do, somebody give you a chance. Deshaun Watson is a prime example. When you're good at what you do, it doesn't matter how good of a person you are. Someone's going to give you a chance.
Hey, shout out to Jeremiah Martinez for donating to the channel, man. We appreciate you, bro.
I just think, what his situation is, maybe it might be a chance for Charlotte to maybe give him a lower amount. I mean, I think he might return as a Hornet. I mean, I can see it,
But he got to get on big money.
He got to get up on that podium and start crying. And
I mean, he gonna have to do something either way if he wants to get a deal. Like you said,
he gonna have to get that girl to come up there with him and hug him and kiss on him, and he gonna have to be like, I checked into counseling and all that stuff, anger management, and they're gonna have to shoot a video of him with the United Way and stuff. They're gonna have to shoot a video of him helping at the battered women's shelter and stuff, donating money and basket weaving and stuff, and working at the soup kitchen and all that stuff. He got to talk about how he's going to redeem himself and how he apologized to his mama and his grandma and all the women in his life, and he gonna have to do all of that PR stuff, and he got to have that woman there crying with him and stuff. He got to hang out with Tony Dungy and take some pictures with him. He got to do all that, and then take like that 1 year prove it deal, like 1 year $6 million, 1 year $5 million on a prove it deal. Not get in a bit of trouble. He gonna have to cut his hair. Gonna have to shave his beard. He got to take some pictures at church. He got to be like pastor. He gonna have to.
All the real people at the house. Look, all the real people at the house probably like this.
Yeah, but he come out apologizing. They might bring him back. He's gonna have to take that suspension, and but I don't think his career is over. At 24 years old with that kind of talent. If that was someone like Nick Richards or something, his career. Yeah, but
hell, like here you go.
Yeah, but when you got a guy that talented, somebody's gonna take a chance on him.
That's why I think if it was that bad, I think the Hornets would have been released him too.
Yeah.
Well, they withdrew the qualifying offer they gave him.
Yes.
They did. Yeah.
Which, in terms of that, means like, okay, he's pretty much a free agent, right?
Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent now.
So that saying that, it means like right now it's been about maybe 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Nobody made him an offer. I'm not saying it would happen, but he's definitely gonna. I ain't gonna say that he's gonna get lowball, but he definitely is not gonna get that 20.
He's gonna get lowball. He's gonna get lowball.
He'll get lowball. Otherwise, I say, baby Sharp, like, well, we'll give you 15 if you come back, or we'll give you 13.
And at that point, he ain't got no choice.
They ain't got to give that much. They can say, we'll give you 5 or 6. Take it or leave it.
But I say at that point, he ain't got no choice. He got to take it or leave it.
Now, if it's on the table, like, hey, 8, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Maybe a.
I'm about to say, if they say 5, I'm about to say, because you're gonna be making 0.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, you got people out here who working like hell, just struggling for their little $15. Let me rephrase that. You got people. Let me rephrase that. You got people who are struggling, just making ends meet, making marginal wages and stuff out here in the streets. If someone offers you $5 million when nobody else wants you, you got to take that. You're still a millionaire, and your market value is down to nothing. It's down to nothing. So I mean, it's either that, or he gonna be one of those guys out here. You're gonna see. We might clock in on Monday and see the new guy, our new teammate named My House.
Yeah.
I've been there before with a football star.
So what?
I've been in that with a football star before. I worked with one. I'm not going to say his name. Of
I'm gonna
course.
figure it out. He played the Panthers.
Nah, he didn't play with the Panthers.
You ain't gonna give me no clues, are you?
Nah, I ain't gonna put him out. He's a good guy. You know, he's been through a lot, but you just like you seen him from one stage and then you see him on this level. You know, that's something like it makes you wonder, like, how did you get there? What's going on? But it's like anything else, you know, he definitely got some demons going on. You know what I mean? Like for him to get to that level, to do what he do, like you said, normal person knowing the risk and going through that situation, they would have put themselves in that situation in the first hand. They would be like, okay, I'm home. But
True.
it's something more going on with him, which is sad, unfortunately. That I mean, you feel like, man, like I said, he's out there trying to be a rap star and all this now. Like maybe 3-4 weeks earlier, he on Instagram with lean and a blunt in his hand.
That
Stuff
was
like
stupid.
yeah,
The lean thing was stupid because you can fail a drug test on the lean thing. They're not really testing for weed, but that and lean is just bad. If you're a pro athlete, you don't need to be sipping.
That's what I'm saying. Look
In
at
general,
Jamarcus
you don't need to be
Russell.
sipping lean. If you're a pro athlete, you definitely don't need to be on lean.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell, prime example.
Was that really lean? He admitted that was lean and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah,
lean.
he was on lane. Yeah.
That was, I mean, if you ever seen it, that was that tint, like that little purple.
Yeah, the codeine promethazine.
Codeine, yeah. That was protein of his promethazine.
Yeah, and first of all, to put that on Instagram is stupid. You know what? You know what I'm wondering? I don't think it's the first time he whooped that girl's butt.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm pretty much thinking this is kind of like this might have been the major, this instance might have been very major. You know what I mean?
It was major because of the money that was on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this may be who he is.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but now, like you said, it only came to light because he was up for that big money.
Yeah, but his dumb butt shouldn't have got arrested. He shouldn't. He the one that put himself in a position to get arrested.
He put himself in that situation. You're right. I agree with you saying, but what I'm saying is, it's not the first time that's happened. Like you're saying,
and there's no excuse for it. Then let me ask you something. You and your fiance, I'm sure y'all don't agree on everything. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair statement.
Yeah, but you've never done that to her, have you?
Nope.
Darren, you've been married how many years now?
8 years.
8 years. And 8 years, can you say that y'all have agreed on every single thing in 8 years?
Absolutely not.
And it's not realistic. But you haven't done that to her?
No.
Okay, so my point is there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, it's something going on deeper with him. Like a normal, like me and Nick, we're not going to do that. We're not going to sit here and jeopardize, even though we don't make the million he make. Like if I was in that position, I know would look for that. I know somebody's trying out to get me because me making $65,000, $70,000 salary versus $10 million plus a year. I can go somewhere and make another 70,000, but you just ain't gonna go somewhere
and make 10.
Even going somewhere and make another 70,000. And even sometimes going somewhere making another 70,000 ain't the easiest thing because people don't just quit those on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
no, they don't.
But it's far more likely than making another X amount of million.
Yeah.
And I want to backtrack on that. Not only I don't think you do that jeopardize everything. I also think you're just not a bad dude. That's not the way you express yourself.
No.
Right. I'm about to say, first of all, if that's not in your character, you're not gonna do it anyway.
Exactly.
Then secondly, you got too much to lose. I don't know how much money you make. I'm just saying, let's say if you're making $70,000 to $80,000 a year, you still don't want to just give that up.
Nope.
No. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like with athletes, that's something should be on their mind. That's millions of dollars are life changing, not just to only you. It's your family, your whole lineage. Like that changes the whole course of everything.
You put it like this. I'm gonna put this out there. We all go to work 9 to 5 every day. I'm not saying what time we are, but you get what I'm saying. We go to work every day, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
These guys make a living playing freaking sports, making millions of dollars. They don't have to do anything. They got catered to the needs. All you got to do is keep your butt at the house. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do.
I'm not even because I've been in arguments and stuff before, and most of the time I'm thinking like, look, I can't. And then, like I said, I'm not making nearly what Miles Bridges make, but I'm not even willing to give up what I got.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
there you go.
And
So that's absolute craziness, man. Because think about it. I'm not gonna tell what work, but Nick, you know what work. Where I work,
Yeah.
they have zero tolerance for any kind of legal trouble like that. You don't want to get
oh yeah,
legal trouble. They will
No, no,
cut
no,
bait.
no.
Yeah, especially stuff like domestic violence. My employer will cut bait with you uh, quickly, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't. When it comes to them, because they're big on reputation.
Right. Yeah, of
Anything
course.
that you do that can mess with
And
their reputation, they
it
play no
reflects
games
on,
about
yeah, they don't want that reflecting on them.
no,
it. Yeah,
no.
Yeah, you that
Most
you
jobs do that
they
now
they have
because
a person like that working in their company.
yeah, man.
So
My employer is really big on image.
I believe it.
Yeah,
What you say they still what you say
I know
they
something.
still human.
I know. There's some public issues that they're dealing with, but they're not gonna let me make them embarrassed. I feel like that.
hold
Hold on,
on.
let them respond to it. They human. Yeah, I get it, they human, but you gotta have common sense at the end of the day too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
All
right.
humans
Right,
have
right.
common sense.
I'm human, but
I
I ain't never
get
beat
it.
no chick up. You know.
Right. I know money don't make you perfect, but at the same time, you got common sense. Use it.
Yeah. You
Simple
can't beat
enough.
up your girl and think everything's just gonna be okay.
I mean, being young too. This is the thing. I think I mean, I gotta remember these guys. They ain't even 25 years old yet. So, like you said, being all your life being deemed a prodigy. I'm not saying like a prodigy, like smart, but like being a prolific athlete from time you probably from high school through college, now into the NBA. Like I said, you get that preferential treatment where people are gonna lay out the red carpet for you in certain instances. So,
Yeah,
like in his case, if he was dealing with his, I don't know if they were actually married, but with his significant other,
or
you
shacking or
know,
whatever, common
yeah,
law, whatever.
she probably just said, "Oh, well, I ain't got nobody else like this. This can take care of me, work care of our kids, and things of that nature. He's providing a better life than I even had. So being young, being both of them being young and going through that, that's kind of like she think that's okay to accept. And I'm not saying she should accept it. That's not what I'm saying. But when you're young and not haven't really went through any life experiences, yeah, she's probably just trying to pass aside. But of course, unfortunately, she went through that to kind of have her wake up and say, "This is not what I want my kids to see. This is not what I want to continue to go through every day." So, that being said, unfortunately, that had to happen. But I get it too. She had to make that light of situation. You get knocked out unconscious, breaking ribs and stuff like that.
Concussion.
Yeah,
I'm like,
like
good God.
he could have killed her, man. I mean, I'm just being honest. It could be worse. It could be a worse charge.
Yeah, and like all the troubles he going through right now, he brought it on himself.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line.
This is right here saying,
Shit, Tiffany, and I feel it succeeded. We never know women. I know women like that money, but are selfish and want time. But I mean, everybody wants time, but I ain't gonna beat you across the head for
yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna beat you across the head for no
Yeah,
time.
that's what I said. No, I'm not a perfect dude, but I'm not stupid like that.
Stupid.
And I'm not talking about you, brother. I'm talking about Miles Bridges. I'm not. I
It- I mean, it's a messy situation for sure.
Yeah.
But nobody should go through that. But again, as a person, you're accountable for yourself. You're accountable
true,
for your actions.
true.
So he's the issue at hand. So he caused that. She didn't call that because she argued with you. You feel like you got to put your hands on her. No, you're a human being. Know how to talk. You can talk, right?
Yeah,
You can talk like we're talking now, right?
effective
You can
communication. Yeah.
articulate and say what you want to say without having to get physical with someone. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
my
you don't.
guy.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I was
I'm not even.
good.
Gonna, I'm not gonna. I'm talking what I just read down. I'll leave that alone.
shit.
He could. That's my
Yeah.
Italian homie.
Yeah, I mean, just
Italian.
we gotta wake up, man. That's it's the bottom line, man. We just, us as far as black people, a lot of us don't come from great situations, and when we get somewhere, we just find a way
Throw it,
just
throw it all away.
throw it all away. I
You
mean, for
remember
what?
that episode of Chappelle where they played the reparations and all the black people got rich, and when
Yeah,
Yep.
on that newscaster saying they're doing all they can to give this money right back to us.
yeah. I mean, just basically what it was. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a gem in disguise right there. He was just showing you like, if we do that, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna blow it. Not
yeah. Remember,
about the long term.
you remember like a bucket of chicken was like $100 because of
Yeah.
inflation.
Yeah.
The Cadillac
And
Escalades
then
was selling off the
he
lot.
set off the lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what they said. They're doing all they can to get this money right back to us.
He said, "You
Well, I'm
must
gonna
have
tell
been
you a
tired of
similar
working.
situation that
I
happened.
bought this
Think
truck
about the
cake."
stimulus checks.
And then the richest man in the world is a guy named Tron. He had a good nice game. And,
Simply known as Tron.
Tron. And then like, so this your baby? Like, nah, I just bought this baby cash.
Okay, let's say, what if she calls it though? You never know that household. What if she's laughing? Hey, she did. That's her. I got my money to
What
make. I'm not finna jeopardize nothing for my money.
No, I mean, if she, I
If
say
she
this,
do that, that's on her. I'm gone. That's simple
and
enough.
and and that's what you have a trial for. If something like that happened, they'll have a trial for all that to be revealed and for that to be sorted out. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, he knows what the consequences of him getting arrested, and for her to get concussed and all that stuff, he gonna he better come up with a heck of a defense in court if he gonna find a way to
Yeah.
wiggle out of that.
only I can say,
And don't
I'm
and
not
I do want to
saying
make
she
one thing
should
clear.
forget this. I mean, he better hope she might be on the forgiving mode. Say, I'm gonna drop the charges, which I doubt would happen. But
I doubt that he's still gonna get a suspension regardless. I
yeah, but he
mean,
can get a suspension. But this is only saving grace for his career. So if he go down, like he might do some time, bro.
yeah, at least some community
That's
service or
what
something.
happens every
Yeah,
20 minutes. But since he has money, we shed light on it. I mean, we didn't shed light on it. The media said he shed a light on himself.
He
He
the
would
one
have
that got
done it. It would
arrested.
have never been known. Yeah, he got arrested.
He the one that got arrested. You know, that ain't my fault. You know, he the one that couldn't control his anger. Not you know.
Let me tell you
That's
something
the
about
result of
being
his own.
rich. Let me tell you something about being rich. Your name and your likeness can either make you or to break you.
break.
Right. You know you're in the
That's
public
it.
spotlight.
Yeah, you know they watching you. You
Yeah,
black. You
Yeah.
got lots of money. You play for Michael Jordan's team. You think they ain't watching you?
It's just like this, brother. Whoever typed that. If your job find out that you beat the heck out of your wife, they're gonna want to get rid of you too. And I don't know if you're rich or not, so I'm not here to judge that. And but my point is, I don't know who you are, so I know you're not famous, and I'm not dissing. I'm just making that point. They're gonna get rid of you. They're gonna get rid of you if they find out about it. If I beat up a woman and my job find out about it, I'm just a working class man. If they find out about it, they're gonna get rid of me just as fast as time. That's just the way it is. And we can talk
That's
about
it.
what if, as far as we're talking about what if she calls this, we don't know what she calls or not. And at the end of the day, I don't. That's not a fair statement to make because that's that's where that whole victim blaming thing kind of becomes a thing because the first thing shouldn't be assumed. It shouldn't be what did she do to make him do this. He's a grown man that should be able to control himself. I don't care if he caught her sleeping with another man. I don't care if she cursed him out. Whatever he did, there's nothing that justifies that. Even if you want to argue self-defense, self-defense is where you do enough to get the person restrained. But when you're talking about all those bruises, broken bones, and a concussion, that means that something really there was something really intense that happened there to the point where I'm sure they're going to argue. There's going to be argued that was beyond self-defense. So either way, you can't justify the dude giving the girl a concussion and doing what he did to her, even if she antagonized him. I get what you're saying. I know sometimes people can get on your nerves. I know sometimes people can piss you off. I know sometimes people can say things that can trigger you. Even,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying she antagonized him. I'm not blaming her at all. But I'm playing devil's advocate. Let's say hypothetically, if it is determined that there was something that she may have said or done that led up to the incident that happened, that still doesn't justify what he's been charged with doing. At the end of the day, you have to be emotionally responsible and emotionally intelligent. It's just like this. If someone at work walk up to me and call me out of my name, I'm not going to walk up and punch the dude in the face because I know if I do that, I'm going to get charged with assault and I'm going to lose my job. At some point, you have to be able to control your emotions. That's common social behavior. Just because somebody is and I don't even know if she did anything or not, and I'm not saying she did, but if somebody insults me, that doesn't give me the right to go open season on them. If Nick and I disagree on something and he calls me out of my name, that doesn't give me the right to go punch him in the face. That even goes back to the Will Smith thing. That doesn't give you the right to assault somebody just because somebody offended you. That's not within the grounds. If that's not in the grounds of acceptability. The thing is, you have to be able to resolve conflict without resorting to violence. My point is, you can disagree with someone without being violent. You don't have the right to be violent just because someone said something that you don't like. So there's still a level of responsibility and a level of emotional responsibility that comes with adulthood, and that's not the way to resolve conflict. So so to me, I'm not trying to put down anybody, but trying to justify with things like he's human or what she may have said or whatever, to me, that's absolute silliness. Because at the end of the day, he's responsible for his own actions. And by doing that, it's trying to alleviate him of responsibility for his own actions and alleviate him for accountability. At some point, people have to hold themselves accountable and have to hold each other accountable. And yes, I know he's a black brother and everything, but at the end of the day, that doesn't justify what he's been charged with.
Let me say this because it's on the screen. Skull, I hope the Jets pick 32nd for once in the draft.
It's good to hope.
It's a good hope, but it ain't happening. But anyway,
good to hope. Unless they make a trade with the Super Bowl champion and trade for the pick.
They
can trade up. They can trade
up.
They can trade the second and third round for the 32nd pick.
That's about it. Other than that, you're gonna be top 5.
Top 5 dead or alive.
Top 5 dead or alive. That's it.
J.E. Why don't we even talk about the Jets? That's hilarious.
I mean, you know they the last stock of the East.
Even New Yorkers don't F with the Jets. They deal with them Giants.
Yeah.
And the Yankees.
Yeah. I was talking about football, but yeah.
Oh, well, football, yeah. They had that deal with the Knicks before. Well, I'm just gonna say in sports, that deal with the Knicks before the Jets.
Yeah. Oh man, that's true too. But the Knicks are just. I know they made playoffs in 2020, but aside from that, they've had a rough go of it. The Knicks have had it rough, man.
The Jets are going to song, Joe. Well, I ain't gonna say what I want to say here because I'm not for that coaching, but the Patriots do something to the Jets that you.
Mac Jones is great, and a lot of teams I think can lay the lumber on him, but I don't have faith in the Jets to do it.
Yes.
Nah, I don't. I said the Dolphins before the Jets.
New England will still beat the Jets like 16-10 or something.
Yeah.
We always get a blowout game and then we get a close game. We blow them out one of the games and then we'll be close in the next one. That's usually about every year.
Patriots got a good enough defense, and the Patriots have a great running game with those those backs. Damian Harris and what's the other one's name?
White.
Yeah.
That's how they got to the playoffs last year. People tried to give Jones credit, but Jones was just handing the ball off. Dinkin and Duncan handing that ball off. Their running game and that defense is what got them there. If they plan on winning another Super Bowl, he's going to have to step up and be better. He's going to at least have to be adequate.
He said the King of New York is coming back. Oh God.
Oh,
Carmelo Anthony?
I thought he said Patrick Ewing.
Ain't he coaching Georgetown now?
No, Melo's gonna stay with his boat buddy. What do you call him? Banana boat.
Banana boat crew.
Banana boat.
Yeah, banana boat crew. He's staying with them. He ain't going.
I don't even.
I feel like he's just gonna be in his house.
Yeah.
Or he might sign with the Golden State Warriors. I can see him doing some crap like that.
It said, remember the name Sauce. Oh, that guy that y'all drafted. The corner, I guess he.
What's Sauce's last name?
I don't know his last name.
I remember because I remember a guy being drafted named something. That who the Knicks drafted?
No, he talking about. I think he talking about the Jets. I think.
Never mind. I know you talking about something, man.
Hey, look, them boy Jets fans. You know what? I got respect for them. You know what? Them diehard Jets fans. I give you respect because y'all stick to it through all the thin. I ain't gonna say the thick, all the thin. For poor, yeah. Just worse.
It's sickness in the health, it's just sickness.
Listen, man. I give y'all 5 wins this year. That's better than last year.
Ooh, you being generous.
I'm being very generous. I give them 5 this year.
What are you gonna give 5 wins for?
Well, they got one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year.
I'm gonna stop you right there. easy schedule based on what? That's based on last year's results.
Based on last year's results, yeah, that's about
You
it.
can't go
But
by that
I
because
mean,
every year all 32 teams have roster turnover. So
Yeah.
well, that's true.
yeah, I hate when people say someone's got an easy schedule and tell them a strength schedule. There's no such thing as strength schedule before the season starts because nobody's played a game. Therefore, we
Yep.
don't know who's good and who's bad because no one's played. That's based on last year's record when no team is empirically the same from top to bottom from the previous year because of roster turnover, draft and free agency. So with
Yep.
those things,
That's true.
teams get better and teams get worse. There could be a team that won 12 games last year that might only win 9 games this year. There could be a team that won 8 games last year that might win 13 games this year. So you can't go by that. That's based on last year's record. That doesn't account for the new acquisitions. That doesn't account for losses like retirement, free agency, injuries. There are too many variables. There are too many variables that we can't account for that take place for you to say that someone's got an easy schedule. That's based on last year's record. So we don't know if someone's schedule is easy or hard. You just play, and this is the National Football League. This ain't college. There's not a college football playoff committee assessing strength of schedule. And at the end of the day, you got 52 men on every roster, and they're all professionals. So bad teams are bad teams, no matter how good the schedule are. Good teams are good teams, no matter what the schedule is. The thing is, when you're a good team, you're not worried about your schedule because you're good. So it doesn't matter. You're like, they better be ready to play because they got to play us. So, and when you're a bad team, you're bad no matter what the schedule is. Because you're bad, you're going to find ways to lose because losing is what you do. So
Yeah.
the Jets, and even with the roster they have, I didn't see any significant improvement. The Jets are a bad football team. So it doesn't matter what the schedule is. They're still going to be bad. And I see them winning. I'm going to give them 4 wins. And that's the last one's going to come when somebody's resting their starters at the end of the season. They don't have nothing to play for one of the garbage time wins.
Well, they could lose that game too, but you know it is what it is. He said they played the
Why
AFC
are we
North
even
first
talking
4
about this
game.
shit? Well, why are we wasting time talking? No disrespect to the gentleman, but why are we even talking about Jets, man?
They Jets fans, man. I had to deal with this.
I mean, I get it. I mean, they root for the home team. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, they got some good. They won the 3rd Super Bowl with Joe Namath years ago. I mean, 1967.
Yeah.
I mean, 1970. They won the 3rd
Yeah.
Super Bowl. So I mean,
That's history.
hey, it still happened.
Yeah, it happened. I can't take it away. It happened.
NFL films.
Yeah, it happened.
Why does
NFL archives.
NFL. Why is somebody calling a message during the podcast?
Oh Lord. I can hear it.
Stop. And that person
The phone ringing.
So I'm like,
Not mine. It's his.
Yeah.
I'm like, this person calling that message has my phone number. And if it's not a diehard emergency, then why in the blue hell are you calling?
In the blue hell.
I'm like, what the hell do you got to call me about?
Man, who knows? People just call at random times of the night, man.
Not a volume messed up, all because that. Nick,
I can hear you. Hear me?
I
hear you.
messed up my volume.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I hear you, but barely.
Back out if you can. Hold on, let me try something. I got you. You gotta move. Do this. We get. I was saying
it's the same. Let me leave and come back on my own.
Alright. Yeah, but shoot, man. I don't know, man. Football season gonna be interesting this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
Do we play? No, we don't play y'all at all except preseason. Right?
I think it might be preseason.
Yeah, but I think we up there this year. We go up to see y'all. I think. If I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, it's up there because I think. Wait a minute. Now, because they played each other. What year did they play? Last year they played each other in the regular season. They ain't play preseason last year.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I think we go. I think y'all came. I don't even know if y'all came here or not.
They came to Carolina last year.
Yeah. So that, yeah.
What are you talking about? Jets?
Patriots.
Yeah, they beat us 24-6.
So they'll play them in the preseason this year. It should be because they usually do play preseason.
I don't care about preseason. I don't think I care about preseason game. Don't tear your ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even want to think about that game again.
But they ran the ball right down our throats. That's all.
Yeah, I mean that just that was so shocking. Our defense didn't do nothing.
Yeah. No, our defense was finesse. We had a very fast defense that was good, like at pass rushing at that time, and good against offenses that want to get on the perimeter. They were good at stringing plays outside. Our defense was very good sideline to sideline horizontally. But if you lined up power I,
Oh,
put the tight end at the end of the line, put a fullback right there, and ran it, or H back, and ran that ball right down the throat, and ran it right down the gut. They had no resistance for that. They were very finesse up front. But when it came to offenses that wanted to be speed based, who wanted to get on the perimeter, wanted to get to the edge, our defense is very good against those kind of teams, and very good against even pass rush wise. But like I said, when it came to teams that want to, like a team like the 49ers, even though we didn't play them, a team like that likes to play old school smash mouth football, we would have had a hard time against a team like that because they would have wanted to run the ball right down our throats. That's the way New England played last year. That old school smash mouth, hat on a hat football.
Line up in the eye and let's get it.
Yeah, line up in the eye, get your quarterback on the center, put a fullback behind him, put a tailback deep, put a tight end on the edge, and just run that ball right down the throat between the guard and the center, or between the guard and the tackle. And just run it right down, pound it right down the throat. Right. Carolina had zero resistance. You sit with the hands on the hip and all that.
Yeah, that's all you can do, because once they start moving that, getting you on third down, and they keep moving the chains,
and then they would be susceptible to the play action, and then they would that's when they would get gashed, man.
Yes, That's all it takes. You see run, and then you just gonna stick to run because like they just run, and then next thing the play action hits you.
Then once that ball gets between the 40s, you got them on a 2nd and 2 or something from like the 47-yard line. Take a shot downfield, you got them.
Yeah.
Drew Brees was notorious for that. Like around when that ball got between the 40s and it was 2nd and short. And the thing about it, we would look like we're dumbfounded, like we didn't know it was coming. Like we'd be like caught off guard. I'm talking about when Brees was playing. When we'd be playing the Saints and stuff, we'd be down there in the dome. It was like 2nd and 2 from the 47-yard line, and we're actually like looking surprised when they take a shot downfield, like we weren't prepared for it. I'm like, they do this all the time.
All the time. 40s. They catch your safety sleeping back there. He gonna take apart because he gonna come down.
And what I don't understand is like Atlanta, they used to always if it was 2nd and goal, they're like 4 or 5 yards out. If they ever lined up like with in jumbo formation with twin receivers, jumbo formation with a fullback and a tight end, and or 2 tight ends and a fullback, and with the twin receivers out there, that's play action. Especially if it's like 2nd and goal from like the 3, and they ran it on 1st down. You notice a play action bootleg. That was especially when Kyle Shanahan was there. That's vintage Shanahan West Coast offense. His daddy Mike Shanahan was known for that in those same situations. Alex Gibbs, all those Bill Walsh disciples. That's the type of stuff they run in the red zone. Anytime you catch them like in a short yard situation after they ran on 1st down, they're gonna go play action bootleg. That's what they always do. Atlanta would do that when they had Kyle Shanahan as the offense coordinator, and we'd just be like dumbfounded, have nobody there to cover it. I'm like, what are you?
Yeah, like I said, when Denver did it, they didn't know what to do. You got Terrell Davis, you had to worry about McCaffrey, you had to worry about Sharp, you had to worry about
Rod Smith.
Yeah,
and that's vintage. That's vintage West Coast offense.
Yep, that is. That's the true definition of West Coast offense.
Yeah, like because West Coast offense in its purest form is a straight up I formation, 2 receivers, a tight end, fullback, and a tailback, quarterback on the center. That's true. 3-step drop, tight end dig, or 3-step, or sometimes they take tight end out, move him to a slot, or have a slot receiver. 3-step drop, wide receiver dig, 3-step drop, wide receiver slant, 3-step drop, hook route, stuff like that. 3-step run off tackle, counters. Then play action, tight end drags and stuff like that, where they drag across the other end of the field, bootleg out, and hit them on the bootleg. That's vintage with the moving pocket. That's why mobile quarterbacks. That's why they like mobile quarterbacks in West Coast offense, because you have to move in pocket a lot. That's vintage West Coast offense.
And the thing with the West Coast offense, it made linebackers back then look, because they weren't as fast as they are today.
Yeah,
you putting that linebacker in a situation where he got to play catch up.
Yeah, he got to get up there in that flat too.
Flat,
yeah. When that fullback whatever running in that flat, he got to account for that. Yeah, you put him in a situation where he got to cover the tight end in the middle of the field. When that tight end run that stick route because a lot of times that tight end run that stick route or that Texas route right in the middle of the field, and that linebacker can't get deep enough and he get burnt over the top. I don't understand why a lot of high school coaches don't run it. But when Independence had Tom Knotts and Chris Leak, they ran the shotgun and they spread it out. But the concepts were West Coast concepts. They were running
and Chris Leak would scramble out and the pocket would move. As he
moved. They were rolling to the left. You have that slot receiver dragging across, and you hit him on the drag. Sometimes the running back come out the backfield, play action, and you hit them on the flat and that kind of stuff. They killed Richmond County like that one time. They kept hitting Abdur-Rahim Malik on the flat,
Hey,
and the safeties weren't coming down. So it's like 8 to 10 yards every play. Boom, boom, boom. They just nickel
first
down
down,
the
first
field.
down. Yeah, that's how you wear
Because
them
what
out.
Richmond was trying to do, Richmond was going 3 deep. They were trying to keep that deep ball off, so they were leaving all that underneath. This was Joe Cox playing quarterback, and they were just hitting them play after play, just slants and digs and wires and the running back on the flat, just hitting them underneath. You pick up 8 to 10 yards, 8 to 10 yards, 8 to 10 yards, and they just nickel them down the field.
Yeah, and they don't realize that at that point they doing that is burning clock. Less time you got on the field, they'll take the dink and dunk.
Right.
As long as I can get tackling in bounds, the clock's gonna run. It'll stop for the first down, and then it continues to run. But
the thing about it, when a team is able to do it just like that, they're gonna score about 10 plays still, and you still can't stop them.
No.
I always say the best way when a team trying to run West Coast stuff, you got to have guys that play man, jam them receivers, because everything they're trying to do timing routes. So that everything they're trying to do is timing. So a 3-step drop, he want that ball out of his hand. And like 1, 2, 3, he trying to, because most time he's throwing it to, when Leak was there, Orvin Cox during the vintage Independence years, they're throwing the ball to a particular area and hoping the receiver. New England's known for that with those rub routes and stuff they run. When they used to use Edelman and Welker and all those guys, they would run those slot digs and those slot hooks and stuff like that. That was West Coast. It was from the shotgun, but it was like West Coast from the shotgun. Yeah. They were running a lot of those timing routes like that. You got to throw that timing off. And the best way to throw that timing off is to jam that receiver. What I would do in a situation, a team like that, I'll play something like a man cover 2. I'll keep the 2 deep back to account for the deep ball, but then I would play underneath. I'll have man coverage, so I will still have those corners running to the flats. To take away from those slants or whatever that's underneath. I will still drop my linebackers in the middle, so whoever's dragging across the middle of the field, it's going to be pick your poison regardless. But but I will at least try to do something, because at least on that flat, if you got playing cover 2, he got to hold on that ball a little bit longer to see through that zone. With a high school quarterback, make a high school quarterback read through that. I know Leak was good enough, and Leak is an exception. But I'm talking about when you're playing against other high school quarterbacks, make that quarterback hold on to that ball a little bit longer and make him have to read. When you're just sitting there dropping everybody back and just letting them dump it underneath, they're gonna kill you.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get a pass rush too. If you can't get a pass rush, oh well.
Nah.
And with a high school quarterback, I'm blitzing him. I'm like, if I can't get to him before, I'm blitzing him. If he beat me, then he just beat me. But I'm gonna, because high school quarterbacks don't like getting hit, and they don't like having to get rid of the ball. They want to get rid of the ball exactly when they want to get rid of it. They don't want to hold on to it any longer than they have to, and they don't want to have to get rid of it any earlier than they have to. If you throw that timing off, you hit them a few times, you might even have to take a 15-yarder. But you might have to take a roughing the passer. But you run, like I said, Leak was an exception. You could hit him, and he's still gonna keep slinging. But I'm talking about generally speaking, those high school quarterbacks, they want to be pretty. I'll never forget when Anson played Sun Valley in 2008. They had Andy Capone. He was Union County's leading passer. He was picking people apart all year long, throwing 400 and 500 yards a game and stuff like that, killing everybody. They were 7-1. Anson was 4-3, had a very tough schedule. They lost to Pageland, Richmond County, people like that. So I mean, it wasn't like this was back when Pageland won the championships, by the way.
Yeah, that was the
Richmond County
year.
And Richmond County won the 4 AA championship that same year too. We lost that year. The year Richmond won their last championship, people don't believe this. They beat Anson 21-14 that year. Yeah, the year they won their last championship in 2008. Anson was good in the way. I was at the game. The score 21-14, and Anson had a chance at a game time drive late in the game, with about a minute or something left, and we threw an interception at the end in the drive that could have tied the game up. I was there, so it's not like Anson was shabby that year either. But we lost to Richmond 21-14, lost to Pageland 28-7 that year. But anyway, this one Pageland won the South Carolina 2A championship that year too. So 2 of our 3 losses were to 2 state champions. Yeah. So we had a tough. And then we lost to Parkwood. Parkwood had a winning season that year. Parkwood went like 8-3 that year. So we were 4-3 with a tough schedule. Sun Valley was 7-1. Killed everyone they played. Sun Valley was like 14-point favorites in that game. Anson beat them 45-13. Richard Davis dialed up the he called the game of his life defensively. I mean, they blitzed him. They blitzed Stephon Anthony at him. They blitzed Doug Lilly at him. They blitzed DJ Ellery at him. Because Anson had speed on defense back then.
And let me tell you something about blitzing. As far as in high school, the main way you would fluster a quarterback, you don't really have to blitz outside to shoot that gap. Center ain't gonna sit there. They don't protect block. They just stand block. You
And
go to the A.
you got to realize the speed Anson had on defense. You talking about you had Brandon Elbert safety, and who was a D1 safety, started at North Carolina. You got Stephon Anthony that was playing outside linebacker, who's a first round draft pick in the NFL, played 5 years in the league. So so this is not a screw up. You're talking about that level of talent. You got Doug Lilly at linebacker, who Baylor University actually wanted him, but they wanted him to. There were some things they wanted him to work on off the field before, and that never got worked out. So I'm not gonna put anybody down, but the situation didn't work out that they wanted him to handle off the field, and but they wanted Baylor University was scouting him heavy. So you talking about D1 level talent? You got at defensive tackle. At defensive tackle, you got Trey Thomas, who played at Clemson. So you're talking about 4 D1 guys on that defense, and you got DJ Ellerby, who's undersized. Had he been, if DJ Ellerby would have been 6'2", he'd have been a D1 recruit, but he was just undersized. Still was a starting corner at Shaw. And
he was talented. That was bad. He just his size.
Richard Davis sent the heat to Andy Capone, and he was a sitting duck back there. He was throwing up picks. It was like they hit him a few times, and after that point, and then Patrick Polk got to running that ball. Jamie Bennett and DJ got to run that ball right down their throat. Then Jordan, they were just running up the gut, and then Jordan Hills was one time he'll pull it and take it to the house. And they had no answer for it. Anson beat them 45-13, and that's because they were able to get pressure to the quarterback. And that was a game where Anson was. No one thought Anson was gonna have an answer for that prolific passing attack Sun Valley had, but you get pressure.
Yeah,
you're gonna find out what kind of. The thing about it, when it comes to a highly recruited quarterback, you find out what you got when he's under pressure. And when I say under pressure, I mean like under pressure with defenders running at him. Yeah. And of course, when you got a clean pocket, I mean, you're not getting touched. Yeah. Even your boy Tom Brady, as great as he is, the few times that he's come up short in his career has been when you're able to get pressure before. The New York Giants beat him twice in the Super Bowl because they were able to get pressure before. You can't blitz Tom Brady because he sees the field too well to blitz him. He'll pick your blitz apart. But they were able to get pressure with their front four, and that's how they were able to beat him twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, you get that 4 going, and you flush them up enough. That's all it takes. I mean,
and Drew Brees the same way. The thing about those with a quarterback like that, you don't blitz them from the outside. You don't bring the heat from the outside. You want to get the pressure up the middle because when the pressure comes to the outside, they're just going to climb up the pocket. When that pressure comes to the middle, it makes them have to scramble to the outside. And they don't have the quickness to scramble to the outside, and that's where they get corralled and brought down. Like you want a bull rush Tom Brady, you want a bull rush Drew Brees. You don't want to because if you get them from the outside, they're just going to climb up. If you come from the inside, they make them have to step to the outside. Once they get out the pocket, they're done for.
Yeah. That's just mathematics,
right? Whereas a Michael Vick per se, to me, I want to do something like a zone blitz with Mike Vick because I want to make him hold on to it a little longer.
Yeah, but
and then make him maybe take and put a spy in the middle, make him take off a little early, and then get the coverage stack on him.
The thing with Michael Vick when he first got in the league, it was just the fact that he was just I ain't gonna say Atlanta was a good team. They were an okay team, but
they got to like the
they got the playoff
game with them.
They didn't get the NFC one game.
They got the NFC championship game with them 1 year. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when he first the draft year, his initial.
Well, he didn't play that much his rookie year, but his second season he got into the playoffs. They went to Green Bay and beat Green Bay 27-7.
Yeah, he made that remarkable 50-yard run.
Michael Vick was a good player. He was better than people give him credit for. I'm not saying he was an all-time great. He was good. When I'm talking about before, if you look at his overall, he was a good player.
Yeah, I ain't taking it away from him. I'm just saying, as far as
people forget, Vick was still a 4-time Pro Bowler, and we know the middle of his career got a little muddy when he went to prison and everything. But even that year he came back to Philadelphia, he was second in MVP voting and was a Pro Bowler that year too with Philadelphia.
Deservedly so though, but he played good when he came back.
I always thought Michael Vick was good. I mean, he never, when he was in Atlanta, they never had any weapons for him because Roddy White at that time was still developing and hadn't developed anything. Michael Vick was trash. They had people like, one time Brian Finneran was his top receiver. I'm like, come on, man. They had nothing, no downfield target for him.
TJ Duckett there when he was there?
TJ Duckett, he was a running back,
Yeah, he was
Warren
there.
Dunn, they called it DB, Dunn, Vick, and Duckett. That was the backfield,
And Jamal Anderson.
Anderson was like at the end of his career when Vic first got there.
Yeah. I think Anderson really had like 2 good years. He really had about 1 good year.
Who? Jamal Anderson.
Jamal Anderson, yeah.
Well, he was
That
hurt a
Super Bowl
lot,
year.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That year they went to the Super Bowl and they went 14-2. He was good that year.
Oh, he was good that year, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were
Till he
doing
got
the
to
dirty
Denver,
bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
till he played Denver.
So,
Yeah, but I mean that was a Denver team that was
Yeah. I think the Super Bowl, the one that everybody wanted to see, we didn't happen because I mean they won me.
the Vikings should have gone to the Super Bowl that year.
Super Bowl that year, yeah. That kick,
Yeah,
the kick.
they missed a
First
field goal at the end of
round,
the game, then lost in overtime. Morton Anderson or Gary Anderson, one
first
of them boys. They both played
first
there
miss
about
in 2
100.
years.
Man, I hate that for Denny Green, man. God rest his soul.
I
Never won
did
one.
want him to see him win a Super Bowl though. That was the one I wanted to see win it. Tony
And
Dungy's
then
got
Denny Green,
his.
Denny Green got to the NFC Championship twice. He got to the one when they choked against Atlanta. Then he got there again. The Giants beat them 41-0. I mean,
Nothing.
when they got there against the Giants in 2000, they just got killed. I mean,
Yeah,
2000. Yeah, that was 2000, I think.
Yeah, that was the year the Ravens won it.
Yeah, the Giants beat them
Yeah.
41-0. I'm like, good God Almighty.
Yeah, that's why I say I think that I mean, regardless if they did play or not, I mean the kick happened. He missed it. It is what it is. It's history.
He was a Bill Walsh. He was a Bill Walsh guy too. Denny Green was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't go on. He didn't go on the glory too, man.
He
And Bill
started.
Walsh, they probably drawing up plays together right now, man.
He started with San Francisco. Wasn't he in Pittsburgh for a while too? I want to say I felt like he was.
Who?
Denny Green.
Well, he was an assistant under Walsh in San Fran.
I
I know
yeah, I
because
remember.
he, Andy Reid, Mike Holmgren,
yeah.
Steve Mariucci, George Seifert. It was like a bunch of them that was on. Now,
The learning
Bill
tree.
Walsh Bill Belichick's family tree sucks. Like you get Belichick's assistants ain't never been worth it. Now Parcells' assistant, Belichick is a Parcells guy. Parcells' assistants have shown some results, and which Belichick's proof of that. But and Bill Walsh's assistants have been very good. I think John Gruden kind of come from that tree because he was under Mike Holmgren, and Mike Holmgren was under Bill Walsh. So I mean, he came from the Bill Walsh tree. The Bill Walsh tree has produced better coaches than the Belichick tree.
And let's not forget that was the guy that invented the West Coast offense.
Yes, he did. When he was offense coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, when they had Ken Anderson as the quarterback, he didn't have a strong arm, so they tried to come up with a way where they could move the ball without having to bomb it downfield. So he thought about these short timing routes, and the rest is history. Yep, the late great Bill Walsh
created the West Coast offense. If
you
you
can say
believe
the greatest offensive mind in NFL history, perhaps.
Yeah,
because the thing about it, Bill Walsh was the godfather of the modern NFL offense. The modern NFL passing attack was all a variation of what Bill Walsh created.
Yeah.
So when you look at modern NFL, you can't. I know we got Belichick, you got some great coaches and stuff like that. People want to call the GOAT. I still give that to Bill Walsh. The reason why is because the innovation that came with it, what came after. Bill Belichick has accomplished a lot. He's won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. I know Bill Walsh only won 3 because Seifert won that 4th one at Montana. But if you look at the 3 he won plus what he created. He created the modern NFL offense. When you look at the innovation factor and the impact that he's had on the game, even 40 years after he got, or 30 years after he left coaching, he also coached Stanford in college football too. When you look at that, that's why I look at Bill Walsh as that guy, because you would not even the offense that Bill Belichick in the latter years was using to win Super Bowls, at least those last 3 or so. That's Bill Walsh's that's a variation of Bill Walsh's offense. So it's almost like he was using his offense coordinators were using various elements of what Bill Walsh created to be dominant. So I still give that title to Bill Walsh just because of the innovation factor as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Though I said that you can't not acknowledge that he was the innovator of a modern offense, because he really was.
Yeah, and everyone keeps talking about how today's game played. I'm like, what you're seeing today, Bill Walsh created that in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He created it yesterday. What was played today was created yesterday.
Like I said,
being used to this day.
Yeah, Bill Walsh was an offensive mastermind. He was an offensive genius and well ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Because before Bill Walsh came in, you got to give Eric Coryell some credit too, from the former San Diego Chargers coach. He was the one that kind of started implementing using the tight end in the passing game. Because prior to Eric Coryell, tight ends were primarily used just as blockers, as an extra offensive lineman. They even wore numbers in the 60s and stuff. Like you had tight ends wearing number 67 because the tight end was basically an offensive lineman back then. Even though they were eligible pass catchers, they were eligible receivers. But for whatever reason, you still got some coaches like John Fox who still don't like to use the tight end in the passing game, which I don't understand why. The tight end could be the biggest mismatch in the passing game because you got a guy who's the size of a lineman who can run routes like a receiver, and you got a linebacker. Linebackers are too slow to cover, and safeties are too small to cover. So if you want to put a safety on him, he just box him out. If you want to put a linebacker on him, he can outrun him. That's the biggest mismatch on offense. But you got some coaches who are stubborn about it. And Eric Coryell knew what he had in Kellen Winslow Sr. And Kellen Winslow Sr. was kind of like the godfather of receiving tight ends. So before there was Tony Gonzalez, before there was Rob Gronkowski, even before there was Shannon Sharp, before you had those guys, you had Kellen Winslow Sr. under Eric Coryell. And he was an innovator as well because the modern day usage of the tight end in the passing attack as an eligible receiver is an innovation, or at least something that was brought. I'm not going to say innovative, but he brought it to prevalence. It was brought to prevalence by the late Eric Coryell.
True. Well, fellas, we had the hour and 15-minute mark. We done made a little show out of the night. We appreciate y'all for coming through tonight, man. Hey, as usual, I'm gonna give y'all the flow. And I'm gonna let y'all handle your business.
All right, man. It's another RIP. Seems like I do these every time. Marquis Leak, former Anson Bearcat defensive tackle, Bearcat superfan. When he was in good health, he attended all the games. We used to chit chat at games a lot. Avid Bearcat fan. He passed away last week. He was laid to rest yesterday. He had gone through a health battle that he had been through for about 8 months, and unfortunately, he succumbed to it. This guy was a family man. This guy was a husband. He was a father. He was a Christian man, a man who raised his family in the church, and just a good overall dude. Big time Bearcat fan, big time Tiger fan, big time Buffalo Bills fan. I want to take this moment to commemorate him, to pay homage to his memory. Like I said a couple of days ago, now he has the best seat in the house to see his Bearcat. He has the best seat in the house to see his Tigers, and he has the best seat in the house to see his Buffalo Bills. You guys probably knew him because he was from Oakland when he was living in Huntersville at the time he transitioned. But we lost a good brother last week, and I want to pay homage to his memory. So remember, live every day to the fullest, trust in God, and continue to follow his guidance and allow him to take you down the right path and you won't.
Amen. We go to this D. You next.
Once again, great show, fellas. Just want to say, glad to be here. To come here and share this moment with y'all. Just want y'all to just be thankful for everything that you have, whatever you go through, and just stay prayed up and be thankful that you're blessed to get to another day, and just continue to love on everyone and just be a light to whoever comes around you. Good night, fellas. Good night, world.
And man, with that right there, man, we up out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming through tonight. Again, hit that like button, hit that share button, man. Let's get this video out here. A lot of people jumped in here tonight. We appreciate y'all, man, for real. Shout out to Jeremiah Martinez again for donating to the channel. Much appreciated. And again, man, we'll catch y'all when we come back with something good, but we still around. We just be out here handling business, but we'll be back around. Y'all have a good night.
Take care.
Peace.